Guys, I'm not sure that we're at the right place. But, as I was saying, Stuttgart and many other German cities during the Second World War were bombed almost completely flat. Well, this little tunnel art, it's pretty cool. But yeah, it was bombed almost completely flat. I mean, some buildings were still standing, but anything that was still standing was at least halfway destroyed. I mean, the amount of bombs that were dropped in these major German cities, you couldn't really fathom it today. You're talking years of Allied bombing campaigns from both the British and the United States. But when it came time to rebuild at the end of the war, Germany had to do something with all of the rubble. And so, they took it to the highest point in the city, which was, a little mountain. At the time, it was about 800 meters high above the city. After they got done piling all of the rubble, it was over 1,000 meters high. So, today, that place is now a park. As you can see, there's a little running and walking trail. But essentially what I'm standing on is the old ruins of the city of Stuttgart. Okay. I'm on a side trail. But look at this. There we go. That's the rubble we're talking about. Look at that. Not sure how much of that you can truly see. But there are rocks and pieces of debris sticking all out from the side of this hill. Just right here off the highway. There are bugs all over me. Now we got to try to get down this without slipping and falling. It's wet. I don't know that it rained last night, but it's kind of muddy. And the quest is not over. Okay. This is clearly a building facade. They've turned it into a wall. Now that is kind of what I was expecting. That's awesome. So this probably came, a lot of these aren't completely destroyed. So this probably came from, buildings that were half blown up. And they probably just tore them down and brought them here so that they could rebuild. There's definitely a good use of resources. Nothing went to waste. Let's follow this a little ways and we'll see where it goes. We'll see if we can find a cool piece of rubble. Not just an old side of a building. See if we can find something cool. The Birkenkopf. Alright guys, right before I was about to give up, look at what we found. Look at it. There's debris everywhere. Just keep in mind, this was all buildings from the old Stuttgart. Prior to the Allied bombing campaigns. We're at the highest point in Stuttgart, Germany. Standing on rubble from the Second World War. It's a hike to kind of get up here, but it was worth it. This is what we were looking for. Just think, the entire hill that you saw is full of nothing but this. As a history nerd, I love this kind of stuff. I know to some it's probably stupid, just a bunch of old rocks. But I like to think of the German people in the 50s trying to rebuild their city. Trying to rebuild. They took down all the old construction that was blown up and torn to bits, carried it by the truckload up to this hill. I am glad to see that, some of it still sticks out. It's not all covered by the wilderness yet. I imagine, you give it another 20, 30 years, you're at that 100-year mark. And it probably will be. They obviously preserve this place as a park, so I'm sure at least this stuff will stay. But some of the stuff that we saw earlier might not be there anymore. That stuff could be gone. So I'm glad to see it before it's all gone. Just think, this stone used to be a building, part of a facade of some downtown building here in Stuttgart. It was probably hit by an English or an American bomber. For the citizens of Stuttgart, I'm sure it was a terrifying time. There's still bunkers all over the city. We're going to go try to find some of those next. But man, what a cool sight. I can't imagine in the 50s, when they started stacking all this stuff here, that they ever thought this would become a park for the citizens of Stuttgart to hike and run and bike on. They were probably just sad. Poor, sad. Destitute, lonely. Many people in Germany lost loved ones in the war, just like at home. Some rebar sticking out here. So this one sure was sombersome. This wasn't supposed to be a happy, fun park. They probably buried that on the outskirts here. I imagine the city probably didn't stretch as far back then. They just needed to get rid of it. Take one last look before we get out of here. There's Stuttgart. They made this hill another couple hundred meters high with all the debris. So I know you only see the rocks here, but again, this entire slope is nothing but rubble and dirt that's filled in over the years, and now plants and trees are growing. Here we are. I read this sign down here. Apparently, Sunday mornings, they hold a church service here. Not sure they do it in the winter, but I imagine in the summertime. I don't know how old the cross is. They hold a church service here. That's why you see the seats, the benches. Imagine people come up here, they come for a little hike and get some Sunday worship on. All right, guys. We're signing off from the ruins of Stuttgart here in Birkenkopf. I know my German sucks. Call it Rubble Hill. Goodbye, Rubble Hill. Let's see if we can get one last view. I want to try and walk on this. You guys think it's going to collapse? Okay, let's get a running start. Oh shit. I have no hands. Let's do it. Oh. Wow. Not supposed to be up here. This is like an observation deck. I'll show you the underside here. But man. Stuttgart's pretty cool. That's what I was just standing on. It's a little place for you to come sit, enjoy the view. Officially signing off from Rubble Hill, as we're calling it, Birkenkopf. I like Rubble Hill better. Off to get a beer. Check into the new hotel. Plan the next adventure. Let's go!